As Karl Marx once said, history tends to repeat itself, first time as a tragedy and then as a farce. And in April this year, we had the farce in Brazil, where the Senate of Brazil came together to oust Brazilian President Dilma with no legal issues whatsoever, in a completely political judgment. In 2014, 54 million people came together to vote and re-elect Dilma Rousseff as president of the country. And as soon as the results came in, a big media circus installed in a series of lies about the government.
This media Operation Car Wash is what was happening, and basically it was installed by PT, by the Workers' Party, in order to clean the situation because the corruption was rampant. And what happened is they turned this around, eles viraram jogo, and accused Dilma of being responsible for this. So that was the charge. What is important to know, and I'm taking a little bit away from what he's going to say, is that what happened is she at no point no guilt has been imputed to her. Ela é totalmente inocente, não tem nada.
No proofs of her
There's no
involvement.
proof of guilt of corruption, and yet she's been charged and removed for 6 months. So, bye.
E a seguir dessa operação que se foi criada de difundir além de difundir essas mentiras, como ela disse, sobre a Dilma, dela ter algum envolvimento nessa operação, qual ela não tem, também o ex-presidente Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva também foi implicado junto a ela em grampos ilegais de telefone.
So what happened is they inputted all these false charges against her, but they also brought Lula in this, and they started doing illegal wiretapping, and they started recording the conversations between Lula and his lawyers, Lula and his friends, and Dilma and his friends.
Uma situação que o juiz Moro, da primeira instância da vara de Curitiba, comparou então com os acontecimentos de Watergate aqui nos Estados Unidos.
Judge Moro, he's from a lower court in a small state in Brazil, in one of the smaller, less populated states. He brought the charges against Lula, and he said that this was Brazil's Watergate.
Enquanto todos sabemos que, na verdade, o Watergate foi exatamente o contrário, diga-se de passagem.
Watergate was exactly the opposite of what was going on in Brazil.
E após todo esse circo ser instalado em 2014, após as eleições que ocorreram em outubro, em 2015, o deputado Eduardo Cunha, um dos maiores corruptos do Brasil, foi nomeado líder da da Câmara dos Deputados.
So, right after the election in October, Cunha, who is a very corrupt man, who has been charged in Switzerland, by the way, a Suíça que é o dinheiro, devolveu o dinheiro. He took over the lower house as the president of the house. So that basically makes him the third in the line of command. Ele vira o terceiro, não é isso?
Ok. E assim que foi dado a ele a presidência da Câmara dos Deputados, pedidos de impeachment foram aparecendo em sua mesa a todos os instantes. Cerca de 300 pedidos, se não me engano, foram produzidos num período de 8 meses.
So the moment Cunha took office, for about 8 months, 300 impeachment petitions came to his desk against corruption, against Dilma.
Enquanto isso, ocorria um processo de julgamento do próprio Eduardo Cunha na Câmara dos Deputados, um conselho de ética para afastá-lo de seus trabalhos. E no momento em que o Partido dos Trabalhadores, o partido de Dilma Rousseff, decide tirar o apoio a ele e abertamente ser contra a sua posição na Câmara dos Deputados, ele decide também abrir o processo de impeachment.
E ele falou que era blackmail, né? Ele falou com ela.
Pode falar.
So, the moment that, that took over, fala de novo, só um principinho que eu perdi.
No instante que no instante que o PT decidiu se abrir...
The moment PT decided that they were not, that he was charged with all these corruption things, and PT said, we are going to investigate. And at that moment, he said to Dilma, I am going to have your head. In no other words, it was like really blackmail. Either you put this under the rug, or I'm coming for you. And he did. In a nutshell, that's what Thiago said.
Yes. Então, e no mesmo dia até foi noticiado isso, onde que o próprio, a pessoa que produziu o pedido de impeachment disse claramente que havia sido blackmail por parte do Eduardo Cunha.
So the person that wrote the impeachment petition stated to the press that this was a blackmail effort from Cunha towards the president. It was a power play.
Em 2016, perdão, o mesmo juiz Sérgio Moro da primeira instância fez um pedido para que Luiz Inácio fosse prestar depoimentos à Polícia Federal.
So in 2000, in February was that, right?
Yeah.
In February 2016, Moro, who is this, again, a lower house from the southern state, he started a petition to have Lula investigated, and he demanded that he be questioned. And he brought into questioning by the federal police. And he was arrested for a while, right?
No.
I mean, there was an attempt to arrest him.
It was the media said
the
he
media
was
circus,
arrested when he
like
actually wasn't.
Yeah. Ele foi ministro, apontaram ele como ministro.
Exatamente, isso que eu ia falar. Neste meio tempo, após prestar depoimentos, Dilma decide nomeá-lo chefe do seu gabinete de Estado para ajudar a contornar a situação, essa crise política que vinha se instaurando no país.
So Dilma, nominated him Secretary of State, like she changed her ministers around, to have him for two reasons. One, because they were having a hard time governing, and two, because that would help get this patch over, and they'll be closer and they could work together, não é isso? And then?
Após isto, o grande clamor popular pela queda de Dilma começou a ser instaurado pela mídia. Em que a mídia, neste momento, a mídia passa a claramente e abertamente chamar por protestos na rua.
So Globo TV, the main media company in Brazil, the media is owned by about 3 or 4 families, the whole national media. And so Globo, the moment this happened, the moment she brings Lula in and she tries to make him a minister, they start calling for protests on the streets. And, national television. If you go to Brazil right now, everybody's watching Jornal Nacional. It's like a national thing. And then they watch the soap opera. And they were doing, this is just adding on. He didn't say this. That's my piece. People are watching this, and they're being conclaimed to go to the streets against corruption. Contra a corrupção. Sempre.
Logo após isso, e tremendo apoio popular, começam os procedimentos na Câmara dos Deputados.
So the lower house immediately after that started doing the petitions, doing the tremors to impeach Dilma.
Ao mesmo tempo em que as coisas de defesa não são respeitadas, aliás, e vai a votação sem defesa ampla dessa parte do processo.
They did this whole tremor, but she had no right to defend herself. It's important to say, você não falou, they did not allow Lula to become a minister.
É verdade.
Okay, which will be interesting to what's happening in Brazil right now. Vai.
Em março, então, o circo de horrores tomou conta de vez, quando a Câmara dos Deputados vai à votação e decide por abrir o processo, com votos por torturadores como Carlos Ustra, brilhante Ustra, pela família tradicional, pelo fim dos LGBTs, pelo fim do MST e da CUT.
So when they were voting for the impeachment, the representatives would come up and say, I dedicate my vote to General Ustra, who was a torturer. And he went as far as to saying, who did not finish his job with President Dilma. And then he would say that he wanted to do this for the finishing of LGBTQT rights, of the end of quotas in universities, the end of social programs. And everybody would say, for my family, for my children, for my baby that was born, and nothing against corruption. Né?
Exatamente. E o interessante é que os 2/3 que votaram esse coisa, em sua maioria, cerca de 60%, são indiciados em esquemas de corrupção, inclusive sendo indiciado por homicídio e cárcere privada de sua esposa.
So of the people that voted against Dilma, 2/3 of them have charges pending against them. One of them has charges of murder and que mais?
Private incarceration of his
and
wife.
slavery, private incarceration. And he's there representing the vote of Brazilian people.
Simone de Beauvoir once said, uma vez disse que...
Fala.
Não, que estava escrito aqui.
Vai direto.
Disse que os direitos que conquistamos não são para sempre. Basta uma crise para eles serem questionados.
So Simone de Beauvoir said that the rights we conquer are not forever. It takes a little crisis, a small crisis, for them to be questioned.
E podemos ver isso logo no primeiro dia do governo Temer. Do ingoverno Temer.
So the first day of this takeover of the government Temer, we can see this.
Com nenhuma mulher no ministério e num país onde a maioria absoluta se identifica como negro ou pardo, não há um homem negro no meio.
So Brazil, there's not one woman in the ministry. The country is 60% identifies as black or brown, and not one person of color. None. And one thing to add to this is that, quantos dos ministros são indiciados?
1/3.
Não, mais que 1/3, não?
Não, é 1/3.
About a third of the ministers that were appointed are charged with corruption. And with corruption charges much bigger than the ones that kept Lula from becoming a minister of Dilma.
E para adicionar, o próprio presidente Temer agora também é.
And Temer, o que é que tem a história do
O
Temer?
próprio presidente Temer, ele é indiciado por corrupção e não pode se eleger a nenhum cargo público.
And Temer cannot be elected, even though he's in power, as an interim power, he cannot be elected for 8 years. He's ineligible. So it's a complete takeover.
E agora em maio, está havendo vários protestos no Brasil, principalmente após a dissolução do Ministério da Cultura. Vários estudantes secundaristas, movimentos como o MTST, entre outros, estão convocando grandes protestos no Brasil, porém nada na mídia. A mídia trata como se não houvesse nenhuma pessoa na rua.
So the movements, the students took to the streets. They extinguished the Ministry of Culture. And so people took to the streets, they invaded these buildings. There's actions happening every day, everywhere. And the people of Brazil are not seeing this in the media. Fala.
Após analisar essa conjuntura atual do país, temos que nos perguntar a quem que isso interessa, essa crise no Brasil. Após a queda de Lugo no Paraguai em 2012 e o Macri na Argentina, o próximo passo para o imperialismo americano tomar conta na América do Sul é o Brasil.
So after Lugo in Paraguay and Macri taking over Argentina, the next step for complete imperialism to be reinstalled in Latin America is Brazil. And I would be as far and a little more radical to say, I am scared because Brazil has war power. And the United States looks for war zones. Latin America has not have a war. And that's one of the reasons I'm in the trenches, because I want to keep my people in peace. Eu tenho medo de guerra. Okay, Brazil can open the dam, Itaipu, and Argentina is underwater. Okay, it's dangerous. Geopolitics plays big on this. And the ambassador to the Organization of American States released a statement yesterday saying, this is not a coup. This was something that was done. We used the Constitution and legally. Saying this, I want to cry and scream. And I don't want to hijack Thiago's speech, but this is really, we've been on the streets for 2 months now.
About it.
We've been on the streets for about 2 months. In New York. In Brazil too, but even in New York we are. I mean, everywhere. You see Defend Democracy in Brazil. You see MTST, which is the landless worker movement. And we are trying. Oh, the other thing that they do, they have the MBL. It's important for you guys to understand this, because we as left are not organized. We are extremely pulverized, right? And we don't have money. And these people are sponsored by the Tea Party. They have the MBL, which is the Brazilian Free Movement. These people, when Dilma was here in April, they were flown here to bang pens at the United Nations. They were putting their fingers on our faces here. And to that, it was interesting to see how the New York police, we have been doing very peaceful movements, and we do music, and we try to do it fun. They stopped the coxinhas, they stopped the people from the right to getting from us, which was we were very happy to see. It was the only time we ever saw them quiet. But it's been a very rough battle, and families are completely split because they don't know the truth. Okay, and not having we're not looking for money or anything, but not having the money, people don't get the access to the information. They're organized, they're sponsored. MBL has trained people to do a marchinha, lembra? When they were doing the impeachment, they were doing flash mobs, and they were like on a traffic stop, red light. They would have 15-second flash mobs that they would go with music, teaching people how to do the dance. Really nice. It's fascism all over again. And we got to stand up.
Eu acho que é bom lembrar que um dos líderes desse MBL é um jovem negro. E como já diziam...
Thomas.
Sem apoio dos oprimidos, o opressor não seria tão forte.
But it's important. He's saying that it's important to know that in Brazil, one of the leaders of the Free Brazil movement is a young black man. Como é que é o nome dele? Thomas. It's Thomas something. And basically, what he's saying is, without the help of the oppressed, the oppressor wouldn't be so strong. Anyway, so we thank you. Você tem mais alguma coisa?
Só rapidinho. Após 15 anos de independência na América do Sul, do imperialismo americano, novamente temos essa mão invisível pairando por cima de nós. E assim como Dilma agora se encontra sitiada no Palácio da Alvorada, onde ela não pode sair de lá, pois está sob um cerco dos militares à sua porta, a América do Sul se encontra da mesma maneira.
So there's been 15 years of freedom, in a way.
Independence.
More social movements raising and growing in Latin America. And right now, Dilma, the elected president of Brazil, she is hostage, in a way, because she can't receive people, everybody coming and going. And the same way she's hostage, democracy in Latin America is being held hostage, and we need to do something about it.
Chavez used to say that Brazil is the guarantee of the independence of South America. He used to say that without Brazil, it's impossible to fight for integration in South America. This is a very, very strong blow again, the integration in South America, again UNASUR. Also, is a big hit to the BRIC. And we know that's coming. They are coming for Venezuela now. I just came from Bolivia, and I have been telling everybody that Macri, Brazil, used to buy gas to Bolivia. And now Argentina is buying gas to Chile, 2 times more expensive. So they start to attack Bolivia. And we will see that for the next coming months, we will see very tough situation in Bolivia next year. And this situation is because the Obama administration is need all the continent for the TPP. They want to implement the Trans-Pacific Partnership next year and the entire continent. And we are proposing our allies, our friends, to do something in front of the OSA, because Almagro, the General Secretary, he has not said anything about, for example, what happened in Honduras with Berta Cáceres, and all the killing that's taking place in Honduras. He has not said anything about, for example, Ayotzinapa. And also, we know that a big number of people have been killed during this year, that Peña Nieto has been the president of Mexico. A lot of people have been disappeared, thousands of people, and he has not said anything. He in fact supported the coup against Brazil. The secretary of the OAS has been supporting all this crap, and he's talking against Venezuela. He's talking against Venezuela. So we are trying to organize a demo again, Almagro, and next month we are inviting everybody to come with us and to show support and to fight again this instrument of the Obama administration that is Almagro. Thank you.